Take me to heaven, take me through hell, take me wherever you go by yourself. Follow you there, bring you home, forever I'll be there.
Hey there, electrical listeners of the gaming community. I do so hope that you're having the finest of evenings and are ready to kick back, relax with the most delish, most drinkable, most liquidy of treats and kick some tiny bones. Welcome one and welcome all to another episode of How to Survival of the Crafters Minecraft PE. So this particular episode, we're going to go a little bit in depth with Flipbook textures. Flipbook textures are a PNG file in which Minecraft reads from the top of the texture to the bottom of the textures and flips them through like a flipbook, making it look like it comes to life. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that. We're going to make it something come to life. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to navigate to our texture pack. Now I'm moving over to my particular texture pack because I got a lot of things going on inside of it anyways, and I'm a little bit more familiar with this texture pack as it is nowadays. So I'm moving over from the John Smith to my own, which has some imported and some whatnot, and I've been creating a lot of things from scratch from the ground up, and other things are still in the works. So let's go ahead and go to there. So what we do is we go to this PC, local drive, users, the name of the user, app data, local, packages. What?
Sound like a robot.
Minecraft, which is Microsoft Minecraft UWP, local state, games, Mojang, resource packs, and then the pack that you're using. I'm using the Stillwinter pack because it's my own and I'm creating it from the ground up. Let's go into textures. Let's make some leaves come to life. So we're going to go inside of our blocks file and check out the leaves that we currently have on file. So let's just take these jungle leaves. Now, these are not our particular jungle leaves, but these are the ones we're going to try and make come to life. Probably not the way that I want them to come to life, but you know what? It's going to be an attempt. So I use a 64-bit pack. I'm trying to convert everything over to a 64-bit pack, so that means there's 64 pixels from here to here, and from here to here. So what we're going to do, since Flipbook textures read from the top to the bottom, not from the left to the right, is we got to create a much larger canvas. So we're going to go ahead and multiply and say, how big do we want our flipbook to be? You can make them really freaking big. So let's not make it 10. Let's make it 20. So 64 times 10 is 640 because that's 10 flipbook textures, but we're going to make it 20. So 64 times 20 is 1280. Now it is only in height and not in width. So it's 1280 height. So we got all that to work with. So what we are going to do is we're going to take the texture that we already have, and we're going to highlight every individual piece of it, like so. We're going to copy it, and we're going to repaste it. Put it right below itself 20 times. That is pretty exciting. You guys are like, well, how boring is that? So what we're going to do is when we reach 4 or 5 here, is we're going to recopy the whole thing to make the whole process a little bit faster. So there we go. I think that's 5 right there. Let's make sure we get it right on all the way up to the top. And let's post it back down to the bottom here. Now you have to be directly on to the pixel, or else it's all going to go all jacked up. Now you don't want to have that happen to you. So to the pixel. Now let's bring this one down, up one more. Okay, and we are exactly at the bottom. Now I use paint.net, but I would actually prefer using Photoshop. Paint.net is free, so we're using that for anyone that wants to do this, and as starters, beginners, anything like that. Now, one way that you could do this is you can get a plugin for paint.net, which is called Grid Warp. Now, there's multiple ways that you can end up actually doing this. You could do it texture by texture, like each one of the 64 by 64 textures, and actually pixelize them out to where they move on their own. Grid Warp makes your job a little bit easier. So what we're going to do inside of this particular one is we're going to grab it and grid warp it. Now, if you could see, there's these little dots inside of the warp that goes across here. So you got the top ones, you got the semi-mid ones, the second half ones and the bottom ones. The top and the bottom cannot be moved because it reads from the top to the bottom. So the very bottom texture pattern, 64 by 64, has to be the same as the top as to not conflict or have any kind of jagged, random puffs back to the original. So you can only mess with the two inside of the middle. If you want more than two inside of the middle, all you're gonna do is mess with these particular things here. So that adds 5 on the inside. We don't need that. Let's go back to 4 where there's 4 on the inside. And let's do this one and add an extra one inside of the middle. So is what we're gonna do is we're gonna make them move, and we're not gonna over exaggerate them. Okay, so the first one's right here. Let's make a move. Okay, slightly down, slightly up, slightly down, slightly up, and slightly down. And then inside of this middle one, let's move it slightly to the left, slightly to the right, slightly to the left, slightly to the right, and slightly to the right. Sure. Now, this is all a guesstimate from what I'm doing in this particular time because I don't use grid warp too much. I've used it a few times and I'm familiar with it, but it's not something that I prefer. I prefer to actually do text pixel by pixel as you get a little bit more realistic of movement. But this can definitely substitute until you get a little bit more familiar. So we got one more to do, which is right here. We already went on the inside. Let's go down this time. Let's go up this time. Let's go down this time. And how about on the outsides? Instead of going on inside, let's go down and up. And there we have it. So we did that. It warped it around. Can't really tell too much of a difference. Let's go ahead and save it as it is inside of the file. So we have it inside of our texture pack, which is mine is the Stillwinter, inside of textures, inside of blocks. Okay, we have to save it as the same file in a PNG. Hi, Mini Wheels, you're looking beautiful. So we have it as the PNG. Let's go ahead and save it as it. Do we want to rewrite it? Yes, we do. It was normally a square, but we enlarged it. So there we go. Now, that is not the end to this, as we have to actually make it read that it is a textbook, flipbook texture. So let's exit paint.net, and let's go inside of our textures file. That's one back from our blocks file. Now we have a file, if you've pulled all of these over from your resource packs or from the vanilla pack or anything like that, there's a file called flipbooktextures.json. We're going to go inside of there. Now, we're going to use Notepad because it's super easy to use and it's universal and free. I like to use Notepad++, which is also free, but you have to actually download it. But Notepad is something that everybody has pre-installed. So let's go ahead and use that. We're going to go inside, and we have to add this, our leaves, which is our jungle leaves, to over here. Now, I've already done that. So all I have to particularly do is find where it's at. If you cannot find it on your list, you have to add it onto the list. Now, the first sentence that you need to add is the flipbook texture. And then you need to say where it's located, which is inside of your textures over here, and then into blocks right here, and then the name of the block that's going to be moving. Then you need to add the atlas tile, which is the exact name that it is used from the atlas when it's read, which is Leaves Jungle. Okay? So if you copy and paste it to your list of things just like so, I'll go ahead and do that for you, just like so, you go to the end of any one of your lists, bam, and add it on. Wait, what just happened? Yeah. Leaves Jungle. Let's go ahead and grab that like that all the way to the end, because that needs to be spaced evenly. So make sure that you grab that, press enter, copy paste, and then rename the very last one Leaves Jungle, and then the very last one here Leaves Jungle. You want to have that extra line and make sure that you don't delete any of your other flipbook textures that you're going to be adding or are already there. Okay, So let's go ahead and exit. I'm not going to save because I'm not really too sure where I went on that, but yeah. But you do end up saving. Save it as... Down here you have an option for encoding. Make sure that it's on your ANSI or your Unicode, whichever one that you're using. Make sure that it's set as Flipbook textures that you're saving over in the JSON file. Okay? Now let's go ahead and go in game and make sure that our texture pack is installed. Okay, and that is mine, which is the Stillwinter. And we went ahead and did the jungle leaves. So let's take a look at what kind of random grid warp we did on jungle leaves. So we're gonna go into the world that we're using for all these tutorials at the particular moment, which is really cheesy, but gets the job done, lets you see. So, do we have any jungle leaves out? Let's, jungle. So let's take a look at our jungle leaves. So, now when it comes off to the side, we don't really like that. So the grid warp, we gotta understand that we don't wanna bring to the left a little bit. But overall, other than that coming off, look at them move. They look actually pretty good. And they move pretty well. So bravo, we just made some leaves come to life. A little bit of a tweak is we would go back inside of paint.net, undo the grid warp, and try again without bringing the ones on the very right or the very left inside, instead of just going up and down very slightly. But it looks very nice. So that's our tutorial on making a small flipbook texture. Very simplified, level 1. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe to this music gaming channel, as we have a ton more music videos, nudes, and sick forms of awesome entertainment for your viewing and listening body parts. If you enjoy the music at the beginning or at the end of the episode, please feel free to subscribe to our official music website, which is www.thestillwinter.org, as we give out free music to our subscribers once a month. Thank you again. And if you want to watch us play some Minecraft inside of our actual realm and watch the realm change piece by piece by piece, go ahead and you're already subscribed to the channel. Just head on over to the playlist. Thank you so much. Stillwinter, Ian, out.
He puts on a wig